Stay tuned to the end of this video because this video has a twist. The story takes a sharp turn towards the end to a very different outcome. Stay tuned to the end to find out what I'm talking about. What's up, y'all? Welcome to Thousand Trails, Lake Conroe. You have a chance to stay in one of these beautiful, nice new campsites. $3 per day. You have a chance to stay in one of these beautiful spots. Look at how many of them are open. Wait, what do those bags mean? I guess you can't stay in these. Look at this amazing new pavilion they've got. It has these awesome fish cleaning stations. No fish cleaning. Look at these beautifully resurfaced, nice new roads. We've got a beach. You can even rent some cool little boats or dock your own boat right near our private island. Or you have the chance to drive down a road like this. But seriously though, take a look at this road. Take a look at these trees. I see two major problems. I mean, the trees are nice, they're beautiful. The road really isn't the worst. I've seen worse. And the fact that you're only supposed to be driving 5 miles per hour down this road, that doesn't make it too bad. But those trees need to be trimmed. Those trees at 5 miles an hour can do far more damage than those roads can do at 5 miles an hour. Some awesome roads, huh? After a considerable amount of rain, this was quite the puddle. Thankfully, it did dry up within 2 days. And yes, these trees are delightful, and by no means do I think that these trees should be chopped down. And it is apparent that they do occasionally trim these trees. They just aren't on top of that situation. This branch right here, I would say that's about 10, maybe 11 feet up. How tall is your fifth wheel? My fifth wheel is more than 13 feet. Now, if you're willing to drive over roads like this, you can have lovely spots like this. And I do think that this is a delightful spot. This may not be for everybody, but as long as the trees aren't destroying your RV, this is a great spot. I mean, look at this great spot. It even has 50 amp. I mean, oh. It's almost as if they purposefully took the 50 amp out. Weird. What about this amazing spot? That looks really nice. Oh, it's got a bag on it. I think that the trees is probably the biggest problem here. If there's two things you could change, this street, resurfacing, or or trimming the trees. Obviously, the resurfacing is going to be costly. And like I said, at 5 miles an hour, it's not that big of a deal. The trees, however, can be trimmed for far cheaper, and they can do far more damage to the RVs coming through here. I would get these trees trimmed. This path here is on my path out. And look at this tree right here. Now, normally I would say veer to the right, but there is a pole over here that I have to make sure I can get around. So I would probably want to veer a little to the left so that I can swing to the right. But the tree, I'm gonna wind up scratching up the other side of my RV. And just for the record, this is not a one-way road. This is a two-way road. I'm 6'3". Not everyone is 6'3", but I'm 6'3". Now, how many of your RVs are taller than 6'3"? Imagine coming down this road on a two-way road, and you've got to veer to the right. Farewell, awnings. Your awnings are trashed. You also have a chance to get a buddy site like this. Now, there are positives about something like this. Your neighbor right here, nice and close, at least you're only sharing the business side of things. If you're out here with a friend, they could be on that side. And then you guys can open up your front doors to the grassy area and share a couple of picnic tables. That is a neat perk. I won't completely trash that. I like that. I mean, it could be a little better, but. I'm 7'5". Not everyone is 7'5", but I'm 7'5". Just kidding. These hoops are lowered so that the littler kids can have some fun too. Look at these beautiful cabins. You have a chance to stay in these and possibly get a portion of your money back if you pay Thousand Trails lots and lots of money. Excuse me, sir. What? Are you cleaning fish here? No? I'm washing up, dog. What's up, dog? Not much. What's up with you? Oh, okay. So they do actually provide a pretty nice fish cleaning station. All right, that's not so bad. Still not sure why we need so many sinks over there at that pavilion, but this is a pretty cool fish cleaning station. There have been some pretty cool birds here. Honestly, I wish I had my zoom lens on right now so I could really get a look at that bird. It is epic. It's such a bummer not being able to translate between, humans and birds. So many birds assume that humans are out to get them, which a lot of people do hunt birds. I get that. But then there's people like me that I just like to see them. Hi, bird. I like that. It's like he's hiding behind the bank of the island. He's like, does he see me? I will blend in with the trees and maybe he won't see me. If you know what this type of bird is, please leave a comment down below. I want to say a heron is my guess, but I'm not really sure. It's pretty fantastic though. It's like he's got this interesting tail coming off the back of his head. Just majestic. Look at that. Now I will say that this island is pretty cool. It's only got the one picnic table and the fire pit, but it does have a dog cleanup station. We have talked about inviting some friends out here to hang out, roast some hot dogs out on the island. We'll see if we're able to make that happen. Got a lot on my plate to get done. And the island really isn't too far of a walk. You've got the beach right over there and the pavilion with the not fish cleaning station. This is the activity center. And this actually is probably the jewel of this park because this is a very active activity center. I think there's something going on here almost every day. They've got pool tables inside. There's even a gym for 16 and up. If you sign a waiver, you get the code. There's always something going on up here. Arts and crafts for the kids, a lot of activities. They'll do Thanksgiving, potlucks. It's a great spot. This is what really makes this park awesome. Now over here there's a car wash at the dump station, and they don't have a roof over it because it's big enough that you could actually pull your rig through there and vacuum and wash it. It does take dollars and quarters. Unfortunately, they haven't quite got the credit card system on there yet. But do you notice all those houses behind there? Those are permanent housing that are inside this Thousand Trails Park. It's intriguing. They're basically modular homes that are sold for right now somewhere north of $100,000 per home. Buy that as a permanent home, but then you get the pleasure of paying for life for a Thousand Trails membership to be able to access your home. You can stay in one of these nice brand new spots. I love that General Lee car, it's awesome. Yeah, look at these tiny modular homes for sale. You could stop into the office and ask how you could spend more money to become an adventure member. Hey look, someone that's doing yard work or lawn maintenance or, yeah, they're mowing the grass. You can tent camp here too. Look at this nice road. The last time I was here, this road was all a mess. I think it was gravel. Actually, it looks like it even had some old asphalt, but it's all been resurfaced. So there's hope for the park. Oh, not resurfaced, resurfaced. Why? Because they want to sell more of those permanent homes over here, so they gotta make it look appealing. They have tennis and pickleball. They have basketball for the bigger kids, which the cool thing is, it's lit at night, so you can actually be out here playing at 10 o'clock. And they have a reasonably sized dog park here. It's actually a pretty nice dog park. There's a catfish cove. Rumor has it they even stock it, so you can go fishing there. Look at that. There's 2 catfish ponds. Well, this one's even prettier with a fountain in it. And I hear it's stocked as well. Look at those beautiful mallards over there. A lot of ducks at this park. I will give them compliments. All the bathhouses look to be renovated, pretty decent inside. I've been impressed so far. Not everything's perfect. A lot of the shower heads had low water pressure, like a RV. So if you're already used to an RV shower, you might as well just stay in your RV. But that's not true of all of them. Last night in one of the bathhouses, I took a shower that the pressure was so amazing, all of my hair was completely drenched in 2 seconds. It was using a lot of water. And then on top of that, I must have had a tankless water heater, because with the amount of water it was shooting at me, I expected to run out of hot water in like 5 minutes. But it kept going. I was able to complete the entire process of washing my hair, conditioning my hair, and washing my overly sized 7'5" frame. Just kidding, I'm 6'3". So this group of trees right here is what's got me the most worked up. This group of trees actually did damage our awning. I had to come around this turn here. Hindsight, obviously, would have been better to go that way. But I went this way, trying to stay further in this direction, looking for a spot, because everything I was seeing was filled up. These trees here took off a chunk of my rear awning, scratched up the arms quite a bit. And the interesting thing, when Tanya and I came walking back over here, we found that black plastic piece laying over here. And I thought, that's it, that belongs to us, that's from our awning. And then we got it back home and realized that's not even the right part for what broke off of ours. So this isn't even mine. That means it's happening to more people than just us. Oh, who would have thought? They have some pretty nice horseshoes and shuffleboard behind the basketball. And it's 4 pickleball courts and 1 tennis court. The miniature golf is pretty well maintained, and it's a full 18 holes right next to the playground. The mini golf is pretty well stocked as well. Easy to get access to the clubs and the balls. There's this nice sidewalk that goes between the activity center and the swimming pool. The playground is actually a pretty legit playground with some decent swings too. The swimming pool area looks really nice, very well maintained. And the pool is nice and cool. And so is the hot tub. You're welcome. They say the hot tub was recently resurfaced, like literally 2 days ago. Too bad that it doesn't have any bubbles or make hot water. And here we've got the laundry room, which is a huge improvement over the previous Thousand Trails park. Every machine is a washer on the bottom and a dryer on top. So that is nice that there's a lot to work with. But when you're 6'3", I might have to get down on my hands and knees to load the washing machines. So now we're looking at the older part of the park. Look at those roads. So apparently when you rent one of these cabins, you get a propane grill, charcoal grill, and a fire pit. That's decent. Ah yes, another tree over the road. I would say we've got a clearance here of about 10 feet. Is your RV bigger than 10 feet tall? Aren't these roads just terrific? Of course I'm being sarcastic. I was riding over these in the dark last night on Tanya's e-bike coming back from the bathhouse, and the shadows being casted on some of these potholes, especially up here by the cone. I mean, it was scary, honestly, just to be approaching these. I definitely was going a lot slower on the e-bike last night because of that. So I want to make one thing very clear. I'm not putting any blame, accusation against any of the work campers or employees that are working at Thousand Trails, the guy mowing the lawn. This isn't your fault at all. It is a manager's responsibility to assign chores and tasks to the workers, as well as if it needs to be hired out to come in. That's on management. I'll give you a case of where I feel there's some mismanagement going on here. Yesterday, Monday, the activity center was closed for a big detail cleaning. From what I could tell, it looked like they'd hired an outside company to come in, probably wax the floors, do a bunch of cleaning. I'm sure it's wonderful, I'm sure it's nice, but in the meantime, you have trees out here ripping apart your tenants, your campers, or your members' RVs as they're coming into the park. You're not utilizing your time, money, resources properly. Those trees need to get trimmed a lot sooner. Sure, then you can get to waxing the floors. If there's a budget constraint, you probably should target the trees over the waxed floors. Because if anybody decides to come after you for what happens to their RV due to the conditions of your park, that's going to cost more off your budget later. I used to be a restaurant manager. I know a little bit about profit and loss statements. And by no means do I want this park to come in and cut all the trees down. Absolutely not. I love trees. I used to get very frustrated when I would see homeowners in our neighborhood removing their trees because they got fed up with trimming them. I like the trees. The trees are an asset to your property. You just have to do some care to take care of them. When I would go out, I would treat my 2 oak trees in the front yard like bonsai trees. And I would go out there and I would trim them just right. And at 6'3", yes, that's the accurate statement, 6'3", I would try to trim them to about 6'5", so that I could always walk like right under them without getting any of my hair snagged. And that was like a way for me to relieve stress. Just go out there with my little trimmers and clip them. I was trying to get branches to go out over the truck on the driveway without touching it. I would take pride in that. Now, I said I might become an honorary self-appointed worker. I was speaking with a friend. It's another YouTube channel, and since I'm kind of dragging Thousand Trails through the mud today, I'm not going to tell you who this is. You can figure that out on your own. They stated that when they come to this park and they're driving around, if they anticipate one of the trees causing a problem, they get out and trim that tree themselves. So when I signed up and paid all that money for Thousand Trails, was there something in the contract that stated that I need to be like a staff member, that I needed to care for the park myself? It might honestly be there. The contracts for these Thousand Trails memberships are ridiculously huge. There will be more. I will talk more about Thousand Trails in the future. This is not the end, because we put a lot of money into this Thousand Trails membership and we need to get that money back, which means we need to stay at a lot of Thousand Trails parks. So over the next couple of years, we're going to get a lot of experience, and we're going to have to make sure we know all the aspects of our contract so we can take advantage of what we supposedly paid for. Because when I bought mine, I bought a used one, and it stated something to the effect of I get 5 weeks of cabin usage out of it. When you start reading into the contracts, there's different types. There's a getaway cabin something or other, and then something with an add-on RPI, and a this and a that, and this over here, and this does this, and then you got to pay for this, and then you got to pay for the cleaning fees, and then you got to get a rebate, and then you get some money back, and then that was a long pause. They write these contracts like health insurance. It's as if Thousand Trails wants to bill you a bunch of money on the hopes and promises that you might use it. But for them, the hopes and promises that you won't use it, because then that's more money in their pocket. Yeah, I'm calling them out. You want to meet me out here in the street? We can hash it out. I got no problem with that. We can talk. You know where to find me. Come get me, Thousand Trails. Come at me, bro. I hope that this video was enlightening, maybe some positivity, because there are positives. You have a chance when you make a reservation here to get a spot where you can, if you have 50 amp, pay $3 a day to park and live in what you've paid to get a free stay. It's still a discounted rate, even though at $3 a day, plus the cost of your membership, plus the cost of your annual dues, you're still paying a lot less if you keep coming back here. So it's a benefit. You just have to work hard to manage the benefit within the contract. The kids love it at these Thousand Trails parks. They've made friends at the last park we were at. Some of those friends are already here, had moved, excited to see that we're here. Woohoo! And that's great. And the great playground for them to go to, and the activity center. There's a lot going on there that's a lot of positivity. When you look at other places, like let's say a Camp Margaritaville, you might pay $900 to $1,000 for a month, only in the winter, to be able to stay there long term and make those friendships. It might be worth it. Those parks can be pretty nice. When you do the math here, you're probably spending somewhere like maybe $200 a month if you flatten out all your costs. You can't forget to include the fuel that you're paying, because you have to leave the park and go to another park. You can't stay longer than 3 weeks. So that fuel is added in. For instance, we stayed at Jellystone for $607 a month, and we didn't move for 3 months. That fuel cost was there decreased. Whereas if you're offsetting that cost by staying at 1,000 Trails, first thought mentality is, it's free. I'm not paying, so I can stay there. But if I have to drive 120 miles each way every 3 weeks, there is going to be a cost associated with that. Plus the $3 a day, so there's a cost associated with that. Plus the $60, $70 a month for the annual dues if you spread them out over a month. I think it's maybe $59 for the month. There are still all these little costs. And don't forget that every time you hitch up and move, you're wearing out your springs and your hangers, your tires, your brakes, ripping apart your awning if they didn't trim the trees up, which is going to cost money. All these things can add up. So it goes back into the, do you regret this life decision, Dave? I would say I'm having regrets about 1,000 Trails. I felt like we probably were doing better when we were just finding places to stay for a month at a time, trying to balance that sheet, that price sheet. We went this route because at first the girls weren't making any friends. It was lonely on the road. Now we're starting to make friends. We're starting to find friends that we can stay in touch with as we travel. We've made a friend in Texas. We're gonna see later in Vermont. That's a pretty cool thing. We'll have to readdress that question. Am I having regrets later on? Because there are some value that you can't put a dollar on. So we'll find out later. All right, well, thank you so much for watching our video today. If you work for 1,000 Trails and want to come talk to me about this, by all means, let me know. You can reach me at David@RVFamily.Life. That's my email address. That's right, you can contact me. I'll be happy to talk to you about 1,000 Trails and the deficiency. I would love to shine some light on where you can improve and make this an amazing park, because you're already on the way. There's a lot of positive changes going on here. We just need to kind of finish it off. And I don't know, maybe it's already in the works. But at the very least, get your butts out here and cut these trees so they don't ruin RVs. I'd like to remind you that life happens, even trees tearing up your awnings. Don't let it. There is a twist to this story. Things went very different from what I expected. My assumptions were wrong and I apologize. There is an entirely different villain in this story. This is like an interesting movie. Wow, what's going on here? I went up to the front to get the new gate code because they give a new gate code every Tuesday. And I got to talking with the employee. He'd been seeing me filming and he was interested in my camera because he used to use a nice camera when he was in high school. And I just casually mentioned that I really wish that they would trim the trees around here because I took damage to my awnings. And I said, I know it's not the workers' fault. I get that. It's management fault. He said, nope, it's not management fault. It's the city government's fault. The city government is the villain in this story.
Then this can only be one person.
Oh, dagnabbit!
This park was essentially in the country near the town of Willis, Texas, and has an address of Willis, Texas. The city of Conroe annexed this property, brought it within its city limits, and applied its city laws to this park. Those laws include they're not allowed to refill propane for anyone. They're not allowed to handle any of their electrical work, and they're not allowed to trim any of their trees. Those things all have to be brought on by someone who's kind of like union or certified for those jobs. Now, if you've ever stayed at RV parks, which you probably have if you're watching these videos, the first one alone is preposterous. How many RV parks have you stayed at that couldn't fill your propane? The city of Conroe obviously is greatly overreaching. That is very disturbing. Now, I did ask, it's like, well, wouldn't it still be on the 1,000 Trails management to hire someone and get them out here? He said they can't. They've tried. People aren't available to come do the work. So now they're stuck. In order for them to stay legal, they can't come out and trim the trees. So I guess that means that if lawsuits were to come, if people's RVs get damaged, then we would have to sue the city. Good luck with that. Like I said, a new villain has emerged in this story. So if I go and trim the trees myself, does that make me an outlaw? Quite possibly, maybe. But those are the kinds of laws that I might be willing to break. That's the kind of thing that we talk about when you go to church and you go to Sunday school, and they say, all of us have sinned, and we still do sin, even after we've accepted Jesus and become a Christian. And I always brought up about a stoplight, that they added a stoplight at an intersection, and they put a red arrow on it, and it had no business or no need to have a red arrow. And out of frustration, I would just run the red arrow. So essentially, I was breaking the law, being an outlaw, and essentially sinning as well. So that puts me kind of in the same position here. Interesting thought. I would love to hear people's feedback down below on this story and where this is headed. I don't know what to think about now. Because, like I said, Thousand Trails, they seem to be doing a lot around this park to make it better. And then it just felt like they were neglecting certain areas. But what can they do now to fight back against the city government? They're kind of stuck. This property's been here for a really long time. I think the only thing that they could possibly do is hire people that are certified in those roles to be full-time staff. Like I said, I would love to hear your feedback down below. Please, please leave me a comment, because I would love to have discussion about this. Whatever you'd like to talk about down in the comments, I'd love to have more discussion. I'm loving reading everybody's comments. Having these daily videos allows me to interact a little bit quicker with everybody. I thank y'all for leaving the comments that you do. It's great to read those. Thank y'all for watching our videos. We hope that you're enjoying them, and we hope to see you back here again tomorrow. Remember, life happens. Even city governments. Don't let it stop you. Stay fresh, cheese bags.